Parliament Square, the old Scottish Parliament building. In 1707, power moved from here to London in an incorporating union. But in the market stalls and coffee shops that crowded around this square, people were discussing an alternative. If you're interested in the people, places and events in Scottish history, then click the subscribe button at the bottom right of the screen and hit the notification bell to be told when I upload new videos. In the meantime, let me tell you a story. Now, for me, this story started listening to a podcast that featured the incomparable Murray Pittock. Now, I've had folks dismiss Murray in the past because of what they perceive as his constitutional politics. This, one of our most renowned historians. He's entertaining and deeply knowledgeable. I've read his writing, I've interviewed him, I've had a beer with him, and I've never once thought to ask his personal politics. But I have often asked him, why didn't I know that? And I asked it again listening to that podcast. It made me think how different things might have been. Murray said that there was another country that Scotland could have joined to form a union. Maybe on better terms than being subsumed into a larger southern neighbour. That sent me back to my bookshelf where Murray's book, Scotland, the Global History, 1603 to the present day, had been sitting waiting. I also found an academic paper by Hugh Dunthone, who opened by saying that in the debates which preceded the Act of Union of 1707, one of the arguments used by those who opposed the measure was that Scotland's political and commercial interests would be better served not by a parliamentary union with England, but by an inseparable alliance with... Rather than tell you the country just now, let me lay out what I learned in these two documents. Who knows, maybe you'll guess the partner nation before the reveal. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Scotland and England didn't really get on that well. Maybe that's why, in the 100 years before James VI became James I of England, only 272 Scots were naturalised in England. Now, that might not seem important, but 4 times as many French were. And they were always at war with England. In fact, often when we were at war with England, it was as a treaty obligation to the French in the first place. Plus, the Catholic French had religious differences, la Manche, and of course a language barrier to go over. Yet in the mid-16th century, there were only 50 Scots in London. Scots seemed more likely to settle on the continent, and in one country in particular. A country who had fought 3 wars against England in the decades before Union. Many Scots joined their military. Now, I know that's not much of a clue. That could be pretty much any country in Europe. You found Scots mercenaries serving in the Swedish, French, Dutch, Polish, and pretty much any army that wanted to fight anyone. However, these guys had a Scots brigade. But it wasn't just their army. By the time of Union, there were 2,000 Scots in their navy, volunteers. Unlike Scots pressed into service in the English navy, where they shared a monarch, but gained nothing from our victory. You see, win, lose or draw, Navigation Acts restricted Scots trade with England's colonies. The run-up to Union saw London pass laws to restrict Scottish trade with England itself, whereas this country had zones and cities where Scots enjoyed tax concessions and privileged trade. In the 1620s, 32% of Scottish imports came from there. That compared with just 22% from Germany and the Baltic, 22% from England and 18% from France. There were ports where Scotsmen were prominent brokers, wharfs named after Scots, Presbyterian kirks. Historians have found that even 60 years after Union, in the notary records that have been preserved in one town, almost 1 in 5 documents mention Scots. They worked in breweries, warehouses, as porters and more. By 1700, Scots were visiting for recreation. But not only were they tourists, Scots could buy citizenship for around 3% of their annual wage. Compare this hugely interlinked relationship with 50 Scots living in London. I'm actually coming to London as part of my live tour of Scotland Made the World. I'll be down there in March 2026. But before that, I'll be all over Scotland with history and comedy rolled into one as I tell you about Scotland's impact on the world. There might be some smutty jokes as well. You'll get dates and ticket links for all the 2025 shows by clicking top right or the link in the description. Ticket links for 2026 shows will be coming. So, if in doubt, keep an eye on www.brucefummey.co.uk. Now, people didn't just go to this country for trade. In the years running up to Union, 419 Scottish students matriculated in just one of their prominent universities. They were the second largest group of foreigners after Germans. Around the time of the Union, almost 6% of enrolled students in all their universities were Scots. Medicine and theology was what they studied most. And, of course, law. Because the two countries shared a legal system. Apparently, between 1660 and 1760, 40% of those admitted to the Faculty of Advocates in Edinburgh had studied in this country. Sir James Dalrymple, 1st Viscount of Stair, author of the foundational work Institutions of the Law of Scotland and father of that dodgy Glencoe massacre boy, he studied there. Principal William Carstairs and Provost George Drummond, who transformed Edinburgh University in our Great Enlightenment, imported their working model from this country where so many Scots gentlemen had studied. And the majority of early professional appointments at Edinburgh University were to Scots who'd returned from studying there. Are you getting how close these links were? What about religion, I hear you say? Wasn't that a hot potato back then? Aye, well, there's another benefit. See, both countries were largely Protestant. And not that wishy-washy half-Catholic Anglican Episcopal nonsense, no! So there's another synergy. Actually, I have to say, they were probably a bit more tolerant than we were. But that made for even greater links. You see, Scottish Covenanters, being persecuted by Episcopalians, fled there as refugees. And then later, Jacobites, persecuted by Presbyterians, also fled there as refugees when it was their turn. You see, if relations between these two countries were as great, you probably think there'd be cultural links as well. And of course there are. Curling and golf, sometimes on the same surface. The point is, both countries lay claim to these sports. Red tiles in 5 coastal towns, paintings, tapestries and fancy sideboards all linked Scotland with the Netherlands. That's right, the Netherlands. Military links, cultural links, educational, legal and religious similarities meant that some Scots argued we'd be better thrown in our lot with the Dutch. Of course, the real impetus was trading and business links. At the time, their commercial acumen was more highly regarded than the English. They had pioneered the East Indies trade and joint stock companies. And a free trading partner was really what we were looking for. But here's the kicker. England offered that instead of their restrictive navigation acts, we would have free trade with them only if we agreed to incorporate in union. But the Netherlands were a federation of 7 self-governing republics. We could be the 8th, preserving self-determination rather than being dictated to from London. As one pamphlet said, better to be an 8th province than a 12th county. Obviously, there were arguments against as well. There's a land border with England. Was the Netherlands the declining and England the rising power? Couldn't we live with the whole German monarch thing? And of course, the thing that worried early 18th century Scots most of all, if Scotland was part of the Netherlands, does that mean we'll never see the Archie Gemmill goal in the 1978 Argentina World Cup?
Gemmill. Good play by Gemmill, and again. 3-1!
Wouldn't we be the same team? That seems like a convincing argument. Of course, the more astute amongst you will realise that the United Kingdom itself still operates as 4 separate football teams. And England could have played in the 1978 World Cup finals as well as Scotland. But they didn't qualify. Who knows what would have happened if we'd gone through a different door back in 1707. If you can keep it civil, then by all means, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. If you can't keep it civil, then keep it to yourself. I've made other, hopefully thought-provoking videos about the Scotland-England Union, and there's one coming up on screen now. Be nice to each other. Support the channel by clicking top right to become a Patreon member, or buy me a coffee in the description below. In the meantime, ha' mi an dách is go bí lam alive. Cheery and drast.